At 6:42 local time, the Venezuelan Navy thought they were tracking a fishing trawler. They were wrong. 2 miles off their patrol line, the ocean suddenly heaved upward as if something massive was clawing its way from the deep. A second later, black steel punched through the surface, throwing seawater 30 feet into the AI or NO distress signal. No radio call. Just a silent wall of American metal rising from nowhere. On board the Venezuelan Judiciary patrol vessel, the sonar screen spiked from quiet blue to screaming red. The operator froze. "Sir, we've got displacement at 086. Large contact, rapid ascent." The captain couldn't answer right away. Everyone on that bridge could see what it was now. The sail of a U.S. Navy submarine breaking daylight. The boat wasn't drifting. It was staging. Every move deliberate. Every bubble intentional. "General quarters," the captain snapped. "All stations track and log." Engines roared. The Venezuelan ship pivoted starboard to maintain a safe intercept angle. The coast now just 19 nautical miles behind them. But the sub didn't flinch. It sat there like it owned the water. Through binoculars, the hull's outline was clear, sleek, black, nearly invisible against the glare. No hull number, no flag. But every sailor recognized it. A Virginia-class attack submarine, nuclear-powered, fast, dead quiet until it decides not to be. For 3 minutes there had been nothing but noise and wake. Now absolute silence. Only the drip of seawater down the subsail broke the tension. "Distance 1.9 nautical miles, the navigator said. "CPA closing." The captain exhaled. "Keep recording." No transmissions yet. The crew didn't know it yet, but the surfacing wasn't a mistake. It was a message, and every camera on that patrol ship was about to capture it. The Venezuelan Gary patrol ships are no strangers to foreign shadows. Built with Italian systems but crewed by sailors trained on Soviet doctrine, they patrol Venezuela's northern coast as part of the country's Bolivarian security zone. On paper, the job is simple. Keep foreign vessels honest. In reality, it means watching the world's most advanced navy operate just outside their fence line. This morning, that Gary was running a standard 12-hour patrol 20 nautical miles off Puerto La Cruz. Engines steady at 14 knots. Sonar sweeps were routine. The only chatter came from radar beacons and fishing vessels. Then at 6:42, the ocean broke wide open. Now the contact was fixed dead ahead. A Virginia-class submarine surfaced at bearing 086, distance 1.8 nautical miles. That's uncomfortably close for any navy, especially when it's the U.S. Navy. Meanwhile, aboard the American vessel, procedures unfolded with clockwork precision. Crew at surface watch stations. Communications silent. Emission control at minimum. The U.S. Navy calls this presence ops, showing the flag without saying a word. Legally, the submarine was clean, operating beyond Venezuela's 12 nautical mile territorial line, firmly in international waters. But politically, it was like parking a fighter jet at someone's front gate. For both sides, this wasn't about territory anymore. It was about posture. And whoever blinked first would decide what happened next. The standoff began. The U.S. sub hadn't moved an inch since breaking the surface. No rotation of the sail, no change in heading, just a 7,800-ton wall of silent authority staring down a smaller, nervous patrol ship. Aboard the Gary, the bridge was tense. Every officer's eyes flicked between the sea and the tactical screens. The contact wasn't just close. It was positioned dead amidships, the kind of angle that makes even experienced captains sweat. Range 1.6 nautical miles, the navigator reported. Maintain course 15 knots. Keep her on visual. The captain replied flatly. Down in the Combat Information Center, the sonar operator adjusted gain settings to pick up any low-frequency shift from the sub. Nothing. No cavitation. No propeller wash. Whoever was commanding that boat was a professional. Then it happened, one faint ping. A clean, tight sonar pulse from the American side. Not aggressive, but unmistakable. The Venezuelan captain exhaled through his nose. The English on his own bridge was perfect, professional, cold. "Sir, they're holding depth 0 stationary," the sonar tech reported. "Copy. Keep recording." Up top, sailors lined the starboard deck, staring at the submarine less than 2 miles away. The black hull gleamed under the rising sunlight. For some, it was the first time they'd ever seen an American sub this close. To them, it looked like a weapon from another era, smooth, huge, silent. The kind of machine built to end wars, not start them. On the American side, every move was deliberate. Cameras rolling, data logging each second of the encounter. Both ships were collecting everything: bearing, distance, transmissions, wake patterns. Because in modern naval warfare, the battle isn't fought with missiles first. It's fought with evidence. By 6:52 a.m., the closest point of approach dropped to 1.3 nautical miles. No one blinked. The Venezuelans held position. The Americans held silence. The sea between them was charged, still, and electric. This wasn't a firefight. It was posture warfare, precision chess played on open water. Do you understand why a U.S. submarine would surface this close to Venezuela? You have to zoom out far beyond the radar screen. For months, the U.S. Navy had been running Operation Sentinel South, a maritime security mission aimed at intercepting drug routes and arms trafficking lines spreading across the Caribbean. These routes often sneak through international waters that Venezuela claims as part of its extended Bolivarian security zone. It's a gray zone, legal for navigation, political dynamite for Caracas. The United States calls it freedom of navigation. Venezuela calls it provocation. That's why encounters like this happen quietly, but often. They're never announced, rarely acknowledged, and always choreographed down to the inch. The submarine's sudden surfacing wasn't an accident. It was a controlled display. A message. We can operate anywhere, anytime, and you'll never know. Until we decide you should know. Virginia-class submarines specialize in this. They can stay submerged for months, run completely silent, and track surface vessels without ever being detected. When they surface near a patrol zone, it's not because they're trapped. It's because they've already seen everything they needed to see. For Venezuela, that's the problem. The country's navy relies on limited sonar coverage and coastal surveillance aircraft designed for smugglers, not submarines. When an American boat rises inside visual range, it's not just presence. It's proof of surveillance. Both nations know the stakes. Neither wants an incident, but both need to show strength. For Washington, it's law enforcement at sea. For Caracas, it's sovereignty. And between them lies a thin line, an invisible border, one wave away from a diplomatic crisis. Tension hit the ceiling. The U.S. submarine still hadn't moved in 15 minutes. It sat there, half submerged, command sail pointing straight toward the Venezuelan patrol ship like a drawn sword. Every second it stayed exposed felt deliberate, and every sailor watching knew it. Range 1.2 nautical miles, the navigator reported. The captain's voice was steady, but his grip on the bridge rail wasn't. Hold course. Keep weapons cold. On the Gary's deck, .50 caliber gunners stood by. Not aiming, just showing readiness. Cameras rolled. Radios hummed on low volume. Every movement was being logged for headquarters. Then, without warning, the submarine shifted. A slow roll to port, no more than 10 degrees. But in naval language, that's a paragraph worth of meaning. Sir, she's turning toward us, the watch officer said quietly. The Venezuelan captain glanced at the bearing indicator, 084, now 083. They were being painted not by radar but by alignment. A warship doesn't point its bow without purpose. He reacted with a move straight from the playbook. A parallel course adjustment, bringing his ship to 15 knots and sliding laterally across the sub's beam. Not threatening but close enough to show he wasn't backing down. Inside the sub, the U.S. crew watched through high-definition optics. Every camera, every acoustic sensor, every radar emission from the Venezuelan vessel was being captured. They weren't provoking, they were recording. The sub's captain knew Caracas monitors these videos for later propaganda. He was giving them exactly what they came for. A picture of American power that breaks no rules. Back on the Gary, adrenaline spiked. CPA 1.0 nautical miles, the executive officer called. Steady, the captain ordered. His eyes locked on the sub. It was a standoff. One wrong word and the ocean changes color. Then finally, movement. The submarine tilted slightly, nose dipping beneath the surface. No radio call, no flare, just descent. Bubbles rolled off its hull like smoke, white foam collapsing in its wake. In 20 seconds, it was gone. The sea closed over as if nothing had happened. The Venezuelan radar showed a faint trace for 3 heartbeats, then silence. The ocean swallowed the world's quietest threat and took the tension with it at BY 7:03 local time. The ocean was calm again, but the adrenaline hadn't gone anywhere. On the Gary's bridge, no one spoke for several seconds. The radar showed only scatter. The sonar display, once bright with contact signatures, faded to clean blue. The American submarine had disappeared just as quietly as it arrived. The captain broke the silence first. Mark down last known coordinates. Save all logs. His tone was flat, professional, but every sailor on the deck knew they just brushed against something far larger than themselves. The Venezuelan ship maintained speed for another 10 minutes, scanning, sweeping, trying to reacquire the contact. Nothing. The ocean had erased it on the American side. The The submarine was already 200 feet below, sliding back into silence. Acoustic sensors confirmed no pursuit. The mission log noted the encounter, the position, and the response time of the Venezuelan vessel. Every byte of data was encrypted and sent through a narrowband buoy link to U.S. Southern Command up top. The Venezuelan crew began to relax, slow, cautious, not trusting the quiet. Encounters like this rarely make the news, but they do redefine the balance of power in the Caribbean. The U.S. Navy calls them gray zone operations, shows of strength that never cross into open conflict. Every second of today's encounter was recorded, logged, and analyzed. Because in modern naval warfare, victory isn't about firing first. It's about being there first. Control of the sea doesn't win by noise. It wins by presence. And this morning, presence belonged to the United States. For the Venezuelan crew, it's a story they'll tell for years. For the U.S. Navy, it's just another patrol. Another silent lesson delivered in steel. So here's the question for you. If you were in command of that Venezuelan patrol ship, would you have turned away or held your course? Drop your answer in the comments. I do read everyone. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next real-world naval encounter. And if you want to go a step further and support the channel directly, please join the fleet. You'll get loyalty badges, priority responses, and you'll help us bring more true maritime stories to the surface. Head to our channel page, click join, and get on board. I'll see you in the next one.